Developing right now on Morning News Now, another deadly strike at sea by U.S. forces targeting alleged drug boats. This time, the Pentagon confirming that latest attack was ordered by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. This just hours after top military officials faced lawmakers on Capitol Hill in a closed-door meeting with new footage of a September double-tap strike that killed the survivors of a previous hit.
Video was very disturbing.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service.
Admiral Bradley, Secretary Hegseth did exactly what we would expect them to do.
We'll take you to Washington as the fallout grows. Also this morning, a new twist in the legal battle between the Justice Department and New York Attorney General Letitia James. The decision by a grand jury on a second criminal case after the first case was dismissed. Plus, baby, it's cold outside. Developing this morning, millions of people bracing for bone-chilling temperatures from the Midwest to the Northeast with lows that could break records. We are tracking the conditions, the warnings, and what you can expect for your weekend. And a football frenzy right here in the U.S. of A. That's right, the FIFA World Cup is heading to North America with the draw for the world's biggest sporting event happening in our nation's capital today. We will kick off the excitement with a look at what's set to be the largest World Cup in history. It's taken over.
It is. 2026 is going to be like the year of athletics between the Olympics, the Super Bowl here on NBC. You got FIFA. Good to have you with us as we get into December here. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Happy Friday to you. Thank you very much for starting your morning with us. We are going to begin this morning with the Trump administration's latest attack on vessels in the Pacific. Overnight, U.S. Southern Command shared this video. It's on your screen right now. It's of another deadly strike conducted by the U.S. military on an alleged drug boat, making it the 22nd such attack by the administration since September. The Pentagon says 4 narco-terrorists were killed without providing any evidence about who or what was on board the vessel.
The strikes continue despite growing pressure and scrutiny on Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth over these actions. Top military officials went to Capitol Hill yesterday to defend an attack on an alleged drug boat near Venezuela on September 2nd, including the follow-up strike that killed remaining survivors. In a closed-door meeting, officials showed lawmakers footage of this strike, and Democrats and Republicans had vastly different reactions.
You have 2 individuals in clear distress, without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who were killed by the United States.
I saw 2 survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs down for the United States, back over so they could stay in the fight.
NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin joins us now from Washington. Julie, good morning. So first of all, just what more are we learning about this latest boat strike?
Yeah, well, we really don't know much besides what they posted on social media. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, reposting that post. And essentially the military saying that under Hegseth's orders, they launched this strike. By our count, it's number 22 of Secretary Hegseth's tenure. Remember, Congress has not declared war. There's been no authorization for these strikes, which is why they have been so controversial. We know that 4 people were killed. According to the military, they are narco-terrorists, and this is a designated terrorist organization. This one happened in the Eastern Pacific. Of course, the other strikes that we were talking about happened in the Caribbean.
Julie, Admiral Frank Bradley briefed lawmakers yesterday on that September 2nd attack on an alleged drug boat. It's drawn increased scrutiny because of that second strike on the survivors of the first strike. He commanded this particular mission. It was a closed-door meeting, but what have we learned about his defense of the operation?
Well, first of all, Republicans and Democrats, the very limited amount of members in the House and the Senate that actually attended these closed-door briefings, they were the heads of the Armed Services Committees, the Intelligence Committees. They did praise Admiral Bradley. Nobody came out of that closed-door session saying that he did anything wrong or they were confused by his actions. But we did hear very different reactions, basically broken down by party lines. Republicans, as you heard there from Tom Cotton, who is the chairman of the Intelligence Committee in the Senate, saying they didn't see anything wrong in the videos. They said that Hegseth had all the authority to conduct this strike. Of course, it was Bradley who ordered the second strike. There was also a third and a fourth one. But Democrats, including ones that I spoke to, said this was one of the most disturbing briefings they have ever attended. The big question is, where does this go from here? Some members are calling for open hearings, open sessions. They want to hear from Hegseth. Others want more classified information given to all rank and file members. So that's really still an open question, guys.
Yeah, so different interpretations of the video and I think different theories on what to do next. Republicans are defending the administration. Democrats say the attacks might be illegal. The administration standing by Hegseth. Democrats calling for his ouster. That includes Senator Patty Murray, who said in part, quote, Pete Hegseth should be fired between overseeing this campaign in the Caribbean, risking U.S. service members' lives by sharing war plans on Signal, and so much else. It could not be more obvious that Secretary Hegseth is unfit for the role. But what can Democrats realistically do if they don't control Congress? I mean, to impeach, they would need Republican votes, right?
Yeah, they absolutely would need Republican votes. And at this case, there is no sign that Republicans are going to join Democrats in that effort. There was a Democrat in the House who said that he would introduce articles of impeachment against Secretary Hegseth. But again, Republicans would very much need to provide the votes and join into that effort in the House. And then, of course, if a trial happens in the Senate. But it is extremely rare, guys, to impeach cabinet secretaries. In fact, in history, there have only been 2. And both of those people remained in their positions. I will tell you, though, there's a lot of controversy around Pete Hegseth. I'm glad you brought up Signalgate. It's stunning to remember the fact that that report came out from the Inspector General's office the same week that these classified briefings on the strikes took place. Both controversial matters. You do have some Republicans speaking to the strikes who want to kind of curtail the administration's war powers. That includes Senator Rand Paul. But aside from him, there aren't many Republicans. And on the impeachment matter, there are, of course, Republicans that I'm talking to even behind the scenes who are disgruntled by Pete Hegseth's action so far. Are they going to take that step and cross the president? That seems unlikely at this point, but certainly this story is far from over.
No kidding. All right, Julie Sirkin, thank you so much.
Well, federal agents made an arrest on Thursday that could be the end of a mystery that has baffled investigators for nearly 5 years. Yesterday, 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. from Virginia was arrested on charges of planting pipe bombs in the nation's capital in 2021.
At the time, the FBI shared these images of the suspect planting those bombs near the headquarters of both the Democratic and Republican parties. It was the night before rioters stormed the Capitol on January 6th when lawmakers were meeting to certify the 2020 election results.
NBC News senior justice reporter Ryan Riley joins us now with more on what could happen next for the suspect. Ryan, good morning. So, I mean, this is a case that spawned a lot of conjecture, a lot of conspiracy theories. There were so many images, even details down to the sneakers that the suspect was wearing, and yet for years, no suspect, no arrest. What led agents to make this arrest all these years later?
Yeah, it was information that was already in their possession, and so they had basically fresh eyes being put on this. Remember, though, the January 6th investigation was the largest investigation in American history, full stop, because of the extensive amount of evidence, the thousands of criminal suspects in that case, and so now for the past 10, 11, 12 months, they've had the luxury of not having to prosecute any of those individuals who assaulted law enforcement officers that day, and were able to dedicate more resources solely to this case and basically look back at the evidence. And now we're in a situation where the only person who might be held accountable for some of the vicious attacks on January 6th is actually someone whose actions didn't result in any injuries to police officers, in spite of the fact that it very well could have injured people who either were around the DNC or the RNC. And so the big question, I think, now going forward as we await a future court hearing is what exactly was the motive here? Yeah,
I mean, beyond the motive, which is, of course, the huge question here, just what else are we learning about the suspect?
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of details. We're still sort of reporting out. He is cooperating with law enforcement, so we're still trying to flesh out exactly what he's saying there. But, big picture, I would say, it's hard to imagine someone who supported Joe Biden would have any reason to plant pipe bombs on the eve of the certification of his election. So just, from a pure logical standpoint, I think that's something to keep an eye on, because we've seen so many of these conspiracies float up in the past 5 years. And this was sort of a distraction away because of because this person's identification was a mystery. This was a way that individuals, in the House and Trump supporters were able to sort of put the blame elsewhere for what happened on January 6th.
So, Ryan, this arrest solved this outstanding mystery from January 6th, but raising some questions now. What happens next to the suspect? Our viewers probably remember on his first day back in office, President Trump issued a mass pardon for all of the January 6th rioters. You just mentioned that when you say this could be the only person who really sees any ramifications from their actions. Do we think that pardon, is there any reason to believe it could be applied to this pipe bomb suspect?
You know, from individuals I've spoken to, they think that's the first move that the that any defense lawyer is going to make here. And, you know, just drawing that contrast between some of those really violent attacks and this action, which, while, you know, certainly potentially dangerous, didn't actually injure a sole person, right? So I think drawing that contrast is going to be a big thing. But, you know, legally speaking, they're going to try to argue that this pardon itself, the language of the pardon itself, extends to this individual. But I think they're going to really face an uphill battle there just because of the language of the pardon itself. And I think judges are going to give deference to the Justice Department when they probably come forward and argue that Donald Trump did not intend to pardon this individual. Although the Justice Department has shown some flexibility, I guess we could say, about who exactly this pardon should apply to. They've argued that it should apply to people who were found with illegal guns in their house after they were searched for January 6th, but they do not want it to apply to individuals who possessed pornographic material involving children. That's a line that they've drawn before, and they say those individuals should not have been pardoned by Donald Trump, but they do say that those gun cases should. So it's been a little bit of a mess in the past several months in figuring out exactly the contours of that pardon.
Ryan Riley, thanks very much for reporting here.
The Justice Department's effort to revive a criminal case against New York Attorney General Letitia James appears to have hit a roadblock. A source familiar with the matter tells us that yesterday, a federal grand jury declined to re-indict James. Not even 2 weeks ago, the original mortgage fraud case against her was dismissed. A judge tossed out the grand jury indictment on charges of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution.
The judge dismissed that case on the grounds that the prosecutor, its former Trump attorney Lindsay Halligan, was not lawfully appointed. Now, James has denied any wrongdoing, calling the charges against her baseless. In a statement yesterday, she said she was grateful to the members of the grand jury, adding, quote, "It is time for this unchecked weaponization of our justice system to stop."
NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos is here to help us break down the latest developments in this case. So, Danny, you know, the Justice Department could have appealed this November decision about the prosecutor, instead said, let's just try and see if we can get another indictment. Why do you think they tried to go that route, and why in the end do you think the grand jury declined to indict here?
It's easier, it's faster, it's cheaper. It's a page out of the Trump playbook. If something doesn't work, just go back to the drawing board and do it again. If they had appealed that case or appealed that dismissal, first of all, they all but conceded that the issues involved there went against the government. But even if they had appealed, that would have taken a long time. They don't need to do that. Just go back to the grand jury, get another indictment, start over. Except they probably never imagined that this grand jury would return no true bill, or basically find that there was not probable cause to proceed against James. This is a shocking development.
Danny, let's get into the detail of these prosecutors that are being appointed and it really not panning out. And also when the president is involved directly and this sort of backfiring. Walk us through what is happening, sort of the technicality here, and what you think it ultimately means for this effort for the president to go after political adversaries that he's been vocal about.
Right. Generally speaking, what's happening is it usually involves the 120-day period when a U.S. attorney can be temporarily appointed. The Trump administration has taken the view that this is a squishier set of rules than others think it is. In other words, if the 120 days expires in the case of Lindsay Halligan, they tried to just appoint her again or appoint somebody new, in that case, Lindsay Halligan, as a new 120-day interim U.S. attorney. But at least in that case, the court concluded that you cannot simply reset this 120-day clock. The whole point of the statute is to say that the president can't bypass Senate confirmation by just temporarily appointing U.S. attorneys over and over again.
One after the other.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the district court has a say under the statute, and the government tried to bypass that. So that's what's happening in all of these cases. And the Trump administration, instead of appealing something that they will probably lose and know they will lose, just goes back to another grand jury and says, well, let's do this another way.
And you mentioned the decision to not indict is shocking. I mean, I think we've all heard the expression, you can indict a ham sandwich. How rare is it to not get an indictment? And then just separately, I mean, does this mean likely Letitia James' legal issues in this case are over?
Joe, this never happens. That's it. Full stop. We can go to the next story. Is oatmeal bad for you? That's up next.
Yeah.
We do not. This is something that I've never even heard of, except maybe in state courts. If you have a prosecutor that's just got a lot of cases, they have a lot more volume. But this is a federal case that prosecutors care about. They care about it a lot. And if you're going to go before a grand jury and you cannot show probable cause, because that's the standard, then that means you're violating the U.S. Attorney Manual rule that says that you don't go to the grand jury unless you believe you can prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt. I can't emphasize enough how shocking this is, because this means that in a one-sided proceeding before a grand jury, they couldn't even get to probable cause, which is arguably the lowest burden of proof in the law.
All right. Danny Savalas, good to have you with us as always.
Thank you. Well, the Supreme Court has handed the Trump administration a political and legal victory ahead of next year's midterm elections. So yesterday, the court said it will allow Texas to use a new congressional district map that was drawn in favor of Republicans. The move could give the GOP up to 5 additional seats next year, allowing them to potentially hang on to power in the House. The conservative majority court paused a lower court ruling that said the map was unlawful because Republican lawmakers, at the direction of President Trump, explicitly considered race when drawing these new districts. Texas's Attorney General Ken Paxton called the decision a, quote, massive win for Texas. But Democrats did not see it that way. In a post on X yesterday, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said the Supreme Court had, quote, shredded its credibility by rubber stamping a racially gerrymandered map.
Now to the big freeze that's setting in for much of the country this morning.
In some parts of the Midwest, like Chicago, we're seeing temperatures drop into the single digits, where stretches of the Northeast have been hit by dangerous snow squalls.
NBC's Ryan Nobles is in Washington, which could see its first snow of the season later today. Good morning, Ryan. You typically cover the chill inside the Capitol. Now it's the chill outside of it. And Washington does have a reputation for struggling with snow. So how's it looking? How are folks preparing?
Well, Joe, we actually are already starting to see those snowflakes. They started falling about an hour ago. I certainly wouldn't describe it as overwhelming, but there is the chance that this snow could accumulate, in part because of how cold the temperatures are going to be here today. Right now, we're hovering around 29 degrees. Those temperatures are expected to stay somewhere in the mid to high 20s, maybe low 30s. That's enough where if the precipitation continues that we could see this snow start to pick up and stick around the region. But these super cold temperatures are not just happening here in the mid-Atlantic. We're seeing temperatures in the teens, maybe even in the single digits in the Midwest and in other parts of the Northeast, and even in the South, places like Louisiana, Arkansas, North Carolina, dealing with the remnants of this big chill across the country. In some places, they're dealing with a wintry mix. In other places, it's just outright rain, which could lead to flash flooding. So there is a significant part of the country that is dealing with the effects of this massive weather system across the country.
And then if it's not rain, if it's not snow, it is just freezing, this bitter cold for much of the East Coast. What are people going to feel when they step outside today?
Well, it really depends on where you are, but there is a very good chance that the combination of cold temperatures and wind chill are going to make the conditions as cold as they've been this entire winter season. In most places across the country, we are talking about temperatures being anywhere between 15 to 25 degrees below normal. So even though it isn't as cold as it could possibly get in many of these places, it's going to feel very cold because we're just not accustomed to those temperatures this early in the season. So if you're leaving the house this morning, make sure you grab your warm jacket because it is going to be cold.
I know it's cold, but that is a beautiful shot behind you there, Ryan. So kudos to you and your crew. Stay warm, my friend.
Thanks for being out there. Well, for more on this bitter freeze, let's check in on your morning news now. Weather.
Meteorologist Angie Lassman joined us with the forecast. Angie, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. As Ryan mentioned, yes, single-digit feels-like temperatures have really taken hold across a good chunk of the country. And notice, these are the temperatures that we're feeling right now. So 13 degrees in Chicago, but feeling just like 2 degrees, 20 degrees in Minneapolis, feeling like 12. Places like Nashville, you're waking up to wind chill values into those low 30s, and New York City just feeling like 11 degrees. So the extra layers are a must, even as we get into the afternoon hours today and we see those peak temperatures. We're into the teens for the wind chill in Chicago later this afternoon. We've got 20s for what it'll feel like in Cleveland and low 30s for the actual and feels like temperature in New York by later this afternoon. As we roll into our weekend, still going to need those jackets. We're really not going to get rid rid of this bitter cold in a hurry. We're going to still see temperatures into the 30s across Michigan and Ohio. You can see Washington, D.C. into those low 40s for your high on Saturday. But we gear up for that next cold blast here as we get into the end of the weekend and into early next week in some spots. So here's how it plays out. Notice the 10-degree high temperature on Sunday in Minneapolis. You do rebound back to those mid-20s, so feeling a little more normal by the time we get into the middle of our upcoming work week. But then we'll see places like Pittsburgh go from those mid-30s to the upper 20s by Monday. And of course, Boston, you end up in that same kind of pattern where it's a little chillier for you Monday, but then we see a bit of a rebound by the time we get into the middle of our upcoming work week. Meanwhile, across parts of the South, we've got temperatures into the 60s, the 70s. I don't know. Miami seems like where it's at right now. Mid-80s for Sunday sounds pretty good to me, guys. That happens early next week. We've got those winter alerts. Ryan mentioned that we've got some flurries that we're dealing with. 19 million people across the country, and specifically the Mid-Atlantic dealing with some of those snow showers. So Washington, D.C. to Roanoke, Norfolk dealing with the wintry mix. Down through Myrtle Beach, Columbia, Atlanta, it's rain, but it's still going to slow you down this morning, so heads up. And you're going to want to make sure that you have a plan for rain here over the next couple of days across the southeast. Guys, we kind of keep that front hanging around, and it'll be pesky, and it'll bring us some rain, but it will be beneficial rain across that area for Saturday and Sunday. A little moisture needed in that region.
Got it. And you're wearing green today.
I'm wearing green today, and I've got a little something to tell you about it here coming up at 8.
Stay tuned. All right, Angie. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, a critical decision that could impact millions of families back on the table today. More on the vote over childhood vaccines as federal officials push for new guidance.
But up first after the break, a show of unity overseas. Russia and India strengthening ties as the U.S. pushes to end the war in Ukraine. The latest is up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. In a move that would help finance the war in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's ready to provide uninterrupted shipments of fuel to India, despite U.S. pressure on India to stop buying Russian oil.
Putin made the comments overnight following talks with India's prime minister during a visit to New Delhi. Putin also addressed the war and recent U.S. efforts to try and secure a peace deal.
NBC News correspondent Danielle Hamamdin joins us now with more on this. Danielle, good morning. So India, rolled out the red carpet for President Putin ahead of his meeting with Prime Minister Modi. Talk to us about some of the agreements they signed. It doesn't look like these extra U.S. tariffs on India for purchasing Russian oil is going to stop anything here, does it?
Yeah, good morning, you guys. Important to remind viewers that India has maintained close relations with Russia despite its invasion of Ukraine. It was a red carpet ceremonial welcome, as you mentioned. In fact, Modi was there in person to welcome him, a rare gesture. They embraced, then drove away in the same vehicle. The India-Russia summit is an annual event that's been taking place for the last 25 years. Both countries have strong historical ties going back to the days of the Soviet Union. Trade, as you mentioned, was high on the agenda. Among the deals signed, the two countries agreed to help Indians move to Russia for work and boost cooperation in agriculture, healthcare, and shipping. So an agreement there to diversify trade beyond oil and defense. Russia has been the main source of arms for India for decades, and India also buys a lot of Russian oil despite U.S. sanctions. This morning, Putin saying Russia is ready to provide uninterrupted fuel supplies for India. This comes as India is also in trade talks with the U.S. and seeks to cut tariffs imposed by Trump. And that's something Putin challenged Washington on earlier, saying in an interview, if the U.S. has the right to buy our nuclear fuel, why shouldn't India have the same privilege, saying he would discuss the matter with Trump.
Yeah, let's talk more about the Russian leader. He sat down for an interview with India today ahead of these talks, discussed the war with Ukraine, the ongoing peace efforts. What else did we hear from him?
Yeah, the takeaway, no sign whatsoever that he's willing to make any concessions. He said Russia would take full control of Ukraine's Donbas region by force unless Ukrainian soldiers withdraw, something Kyiv has flatly rejected. He said some proposals in the U.S. plan are unacceptable to the Kremlin. We know the question of territory is one of the key issues at play here in these efforts. Russia already occupies nearly 20% of Ukrainian territory. In fact, in that original 28-point plan that was leaked a couple of weeks ago, it called on Ukraine to give up land Russia doesn't even occupy. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has said all along Moscow cannot be rewarded for a war it started.
Danielle, as you well know, these talks between Steve Witkoff and President Putin earlier this week really yielded no breakthrough. Where do things go from here? Are there more negotiations planned?
Yes, Savannah, this morning we heard from Yuri Ushakov, who's Putin's aide, and he told Russian state media that Russia's side is still waiting for a response from the Americans following that 5-hour meeting on Tuesday. He also said they've yet to determine when the next meeting with Witkoff is going to be, when the next call between Trump and Putin was going to be. In fact, he said as soon as, quote, the conditions are right, that's a term they like to use, contact will be made fairly quickly, either by phone or in person. And he gave the example of the meeting in Alaska, which had been organized in just 2 or 3 days. Savannah, Joe, back to you.
Thank you very much.
We've got developing news now from the Middle East. A prominent anti-Hamas leader has been killed in Gaza.
NBC's Matt Bodner joins us now to take us around the world in 60 seconds. Matt, good morning.
Savannah, Joe, good morning. Yasser Abu Shabab, leader of an anti-Hamas militia in Gaza, was killed by a gunshot while, quote, attempting to resolve a dispute. That is according to a statement released by his Popular Forces militia. The group also refuted reports that Abu Shabab was killed by Hamas, which said in its own statement that his fate was, quote, inevitable for all who betray their people. Moving along now to Sri Lanka, a powerful cyclone last week killed hundreds of people and left tens of thousands displaced. Rescue efforts have now been complicated by intense rainfall on Thursday. More is expected today. Last week's cyclone damaged more than 50,000 homes and forced 170,000 people to relief centers. 341 people are still missing. And we'll wrap up this hour in New Zealand. A baby seal was caught waddling into a bar and made a beeline for the bathroom. Bar patrons watched in shock as this all transpired. One patron tried to grab the seal with a sweater and help it out the back door, but that did not work out. The baby seal then hid under a dishwasher. Animal conservation authorities eventually arrived to take the baby seal away. It turns out that this was the 4th call that day concerning this baby seal, and this is not an uncommon occurrence in New Zealand.
He's in better shape than the drunk raccoon.
No, I was thinking that.
So that's
At least
good.
he didn't get a hold of the alcohol. Wow.
Glad the baby seal's okay.
Seals are adorable.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks. Coming up on Morning News Now, a mother's emotional fight for her daughter's care.
It feels like the insurance companies want you to give up. They want you to give up.
When we come back, why that woman says her daughter's life-changing surgery isn't covered by insurance.
Plus, a critical vote on childhood vaccines back on the table after a last-minute delay. We're going to hear from the FDA commissioner on the push to roll back rules next. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A vote that could have major impacts on a core childhood vaccine is back on the table today after a last-minute delay. A group of CDC advisors was supposed to vote on the hepatitis B shot yesterday. The vote was then rescheduled after multiple members said they were confused about what they were voting on. They pointed to issues with the voting language. With the vote now set to move forward today, the group will decide whether doctors should continue to recommend that every newborn receive the Hep B shot within 24 hours of birth, or instead suggest that women who test negative for Hep B make that decision with their healthcare provider.
The FDA supports changing the official guidance. The agency claims that delaying the Hep B vaccine to later in childhood does not affect the risk of infection. This vaccine has been in place since the early 90s, and decades of scientific research shows it's cut acute hepatitis B infections in children by 99%. But some skeptics within the advisory committee are questioning its safety.
NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson joins us now with more on this. So, Ann, we know the president of the American College of Physicians described yesterday's meeting as political theater. What happened?
That would be one of the kinder descriptions of what happened. It was an absolute mess. And it boiled down to 2 things. First of all, the question of what's the harm of doing these birth dose vaccines of hepatitis B. They had various presenters, and no one could really point to significant harm. This has been a very successful program. In fact, one member accused one of the presenters of presenting speculation. And Senator Bill Cassidy, who's a doctor as well as a Republican senator from Louisiana, he was watching it. And after watching one presenter, he said that this vaccine committee was discredited, that they were not protecting children. That's the first issue. They weren't able to prove that there's really any harm to giving kids the vaccine. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's been incredibly successful. The second issue was the language of what they were voting on, and it changed 3 times in the morning. And some of the members said, look, we can't make a decision that's this important this way. We'll see if they make that decision today.
I know you spoke with the FDA commissioner about the potential here for this to change. What did you learn?
So FDA Commissioner Marty McCary was kind enough to sit down and talk to me yesterday, and he frames this as an issue of parental choice. Let's hear from him.
You said as a physician you recommended the newborn dose. You think that should change now? Based on what evidence?
What we're saying is that it's okay to delay the Hep B shot for parents who want to delay the Hep B shot if the mom is not Hep B positive, has an unknown Hep B status. The vast majority of women in the United States delivering are Hep B negative.
But the big question is, do the moms know that? And are they telling their doctors when they deliver if they have Hep B or not? Most pregnant women are tested for Hep B in their first trimester, but they're still like 6 months. So
let's talk about another issue that you asked about. The FDA had that memo that came out over the weekend claiming 10 children's deaths were linked to COVID-19 vaccines, but the memo didn't provide any scientific evidence to support it. So you pressed the commissioner about that lack of evidence. Let's listen to it. We'll talk on the other side.
These are 10 children in the United States, and where's the evidence that says it's the shots that caused their deaths?
We had our physicians do an investigation, reaching out to the families, reviewing the autopsies. These were kids who died immediately after getting the COVID shot. They went into myocarditis or other serious vaccine complications. When a healthy kid immediately gets a COVID shot and then develops a string of complications that results in a cascade resulting in the child's demise, that's causal until proven otherwise.
So a lot of doctors would like to see the data from that internal investigation. You asked if we're going to be able to see it. What happened?
And Commissioner McCary said they would. What's interesting is yesterday there was a letter written by 12 of his predecessors as FDA commissioners, and they said the FDA had looked at this, the CDC had looked at this, and they had reached a different conclusion. So why is there a conflict here? And that's hopefully once we get the evidence, we'll be able to determine that.
I think a lot of people are wondering, like, okay, so is this just anti-vaccine agenda generally? We are hearing that being accused of the FDA. The FDA, for its part, saying we're just trying to get back to what they're calling the gold standard of science. I know you asked about that disparity, too. What did he tell you?
Yeah, Commissioner McCary said, look, he's trying to get away from labels. He really rejects this anti-vaccine bias. But it exists because of the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who spent much of his career campaigning against vaccines. Right. It's a real issue for them.
All right. Ann Thompson, a lot to cover here. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
We're going to stay on health news here. NBC News continues to investigate the challenges many Americans face with their healthcare providers in our series, The Cost of Denial. This morning, we have the story of a 12-year-old dancer with scoliosis whose mom is fighting to get her the surgery her doctor says she needs, but her insurance says it's too new to cover. NBC News senior national correspondent Kate Snow spoke to the mother-daughter duo.
Joe and Savannah, we went out to Denver, Colorado to meet up with a mom and her daughter. They're fighting their insurance company for coverage of what they see as a life-changing surgery. But the insurance company says it's experimental, despite the fact that the FDA approved it years ago.
12-year-old Vivi Huckreid is a competitive dancer, practicing 15 to 20 hours a week. But the scoliosis she was diagnosed with last year could force her to stop.
I was scared and I was confused.
Vivi started sleeping in this brace, but the curve in her spine grew worse.
It's like that?
Yeah.
Her mom, Anne Marie, found a specialist near where they live in Denver who said Vivi was the perfect candidate for a surgery called vertebral body tethering, or VBT. But now she's battling their insurance provider, Aetna, for coverage of the surgery that could cost up to $100,000.
They're not looking at the whole picture. I think they're missing the story. They're missing the person, and they're missing the full scope.
What's the emotion that you're feeling?
Upset, obviously. I just want, sorry. Okay. You just want to protect your kids.
To her, that means VBT, a less invasive surgery than spinal fusion. VBT allows for more mobility.
It was just going to allow her to get back as quickly as possible to doing what she wants to do and what she loves to do.
To dance.
To dance.
Most patients are pretty happy with it.
Dr. Mohammed Al-Sharif is a pediatric spine surgeon who's not treating Vivi. He explains VBT is for patients with a significant curve.
Putting almost a rope to guide the spine?
We're putting in a rope to tighten down on the outside of the curve of scoliosis so that it autocorrects.
The FDA approved VBT in 2019, concluding the probable benefits outweigh the probable risks.
I no longer consider it an experimental surgery.
But Aetna does, denying coverage for Vivi's surgery multiple times, calling the VBT procedure experimental, investigational, or unproven. Aetna also telling us a team of clinical experts concluded that VBT is outside the standard of care for a 12-year-old child presenting with scoliosis. For Vivi, time is running out. VBT needs to happen at a particular phase of a child's development. Anne-Marie stays up past midnight writing emails, letters to local and state regulatory bodies and officials.
Obsessively logging onto Aetna's portal to see if something magically changed overnight. Every day. It hasn't.
The company behind VBT says the tether can break, and about 20% of patients who get VBT do end up needing spinal fusion. But Anne-Marie and Vivi want to take that chance.
I want to keep dancing, and I think the surgery will help make dancing a lot more easier.
This week, Anne-Marie sued Aetna in one last bid to get her daughter's surgery covered.
It feels like the insurance companies want you to give up. They want you to give up.
She refuses to do that.
We did come across a family in California who pursued what's called an external review by an outside doctor after their insurance company had denied them coverage of the same surgery, VBT, and ultimately they had the denial overturned. Anne-Marie tried the same thing, an external review, but in their case, their denial was upheld. Joe and Savannah.
All right, Kate, thank you.
Coming up on Morning News Now, emergency help powered by artificial intelligence.
And allows us to concentrate, again, on the 911 calls that are coming in.
So it's letting the humans do what humans do best.
Yeah, saving lives.
When we come back, more on the technology that could make a big difference when disaster strikes.
And breaking news this morning, the bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery now over. The deal just reached. That is next. We'll be right back.
So how would you feel if you called 911 and AI picked up the phone? Well, some 911 call centers across the U.S. are now using AI operators to field non-emergency calls. Call center workers say it helps lighten their workload so they can provide faster, better service for more life-threatening situations. NBC News Now anchor Gadi Schwartz went to one emergency call center to see how it all works.
When the world's largest lithium battery storage facility caught fire in Moss Landing, California, the Monterey County 911 call center got slammed with panic callers just looking for information.
I mean, we were getting data from 911 calls.
But unlike the past, thanks to AI, IT pros were able to reprogram the system on the fly.
So you were able to put up a filter from all the calls that are coming in real time.
Yes.
You were able to do that from a laptop.
Correct.
That meant callers who weren't in danger got the information they were looking for, while dispatchers were free to continue to answer for life-saving emergencies.
They could go in and they can give public announcements and public information in near real time and say, hey, here's the evacuation routes or here's the areas to avoid.
We'll have officers check it as soon as we can, okay?
It's part of a new artificial intelligence system called Connect by Amazon's Web Services, now in place at more than 150 call centers across the United States. If you call a non-emergency police or fire number, an AI answers and routes your calls, saving these live operators for true emergencies.
It frees us up and allows us to concentrate, again, on the 911 calls that are coming in, on the emergency calls that are coming in on the non-emergency line, because that does happen.
So it's letting the humans do what humans do best.
Yeah, saving lives.
It's allowing us to respond to 911 calls faster.
Leslie Reganti has spent decades working in emergency call centers, and she says this new tech is a game changer for the 50,000 monthly calls the Monterey County Center gets.
It's handling 35% of our non-emergency line.
When people call with a question, how does the AI know where to route?
Based on some of the words that they're using, it will ask, do you need to speak to a police officer? Do you want to make a police report? If they say yes, it'll say, Would you like to make a report online?
911.
In addition to a limited number of humans, emergency call centers only have so many phone lines. And that can be a problem during, say, a car crash at a major intersection where a lot of people call in to report the same thing. The AI can help triage those calls and free up lines.
They're going to be setting up the LZ for the helicopter there.
If you have 20 lines, the 21st caller gets put on hold. A artificial intelligence tool will actually pick up that 21st call and say, I see you're calling from this location. Are you calling about this accident? Yes. Are you injured? No. Okay, you can hang up because we're aware of the accident. Well, what that does is that frees up a 911 line.
Are there times where people will think that they're calling the police department hoping to talk to somebody, they find themselves talking to AI and are routed back here?
If the system doesn't understand the question or doesn't have the answer, it automatically routes it back to a human being.
And that human element is key.
Is this helping with some of the burnout that you see?
I believe it is helping with the stress by the system being able to take some of that workload off.
Ironically, on this day of AI assisting with the call volume, the number of calls has also grown exponentially because of another kind of tech. Wearable devices like iWatches or phones that will call 911 automatically. Sometimes it's a crash or a fall. Other times...
Did you fall down? No? Okay, because your watch called and said that you had taken a hard fall.
False alarms.
That was a watch?
That was a fall detection. So we'll get a recording and it'll say the owner of this Apple phone or Apple Watch has taken a hard fall.
For now, any help with the added workload is appreciated by those whose biggest focus is on something only humans can do.
Someone whose loved one is having a medical emergency, AI can't calm these people down and get the information that they need, so you'll always need humans for that.
Nadi Schwartz, NBC News.
Let's get to some breaking money news this morning. It looks like Warner Brothers Discovery has a new owner.
Major story. NBC News business and economy reporter Emily Lorsch has your Money Minute. Emily, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. That announcement was just made. Warner Brothers Discovery says it's selling its streaming and studio assets to Netflix in a deal valued at nearly $83 billion. This is a major development as it sets the stage for one of the most consequential mergers in Hollywood history. If approved by federal regulators, this agreement would unite the world's largest streaming platform with the more than 100-year-old film studio, causing a major shakeup in the media landscape. This comes after the company had multiple bidders, including Paramount, Skydance, and NBC's parent company, Comcast. But it is not a done deal quite yet. It still needs approval from federal regulators. And Ulta Beauty is cashing in big on America's growing obsession with K-beauty. The company says its expanded South Korean skincare and makeup is boosting sales and bringing in new, younger customers, driving a nearly 13% increase in quarterly sales from the same time last year. K-beauty is booming in the U.S. According to marketing research firm Nielsen IQ, it's now a $2 billion industry. And now both Ulta and its rival Sephora are racing to lock down K-beauty partnerships before the mega South Korean beauty retailer Olive Young makes its debut in the U.S. next year. Finally, Mr. Beast is taking his creator empire to the next level. His company, Beast Industries, says it's developing a platform to match creators with Fortune 1000 companies. This comes as many advertisers have been shifting their spending from traditional media to influencers. The YouTuber, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, has been growing far beyond his YouTube channel, which has more than 450 million subscribers. According to reports, financial services and a mobile phone company are next, guys.
I mean, 450 million, that's like a few countries right there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
And the whole
country
theme
of
park
Beast.
he's got and everything.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Everyone loves his videos.
Thanks,
wow,
Emily.
that Netflix news big, though. Thank you. All right, well, Pantone's much-anticipated color of the year for 2026 is kind of surprising because it's white, or a shade of white. It is called Cloud Dancer. It's actually the first ever white chosen. The company says it's meant to symbolize calm amid chaos and serve as a blank canvas while we all prepare for a fresh start in the new year.
Yesterday, Pantone announced that it will launch a new initiative next year to spotlight creative interpretations of Cloud Dancer. The company will release limited edition designs from artists across all areas, ranging from graphics to fashion. Good idea.
There you go. What do you think? Do you like
Change it up? I like a change, you know what I'm saying? We always get a little shade of a blue or a brown or something, so
I wonder if, like, it's hard to see in that cloud picture, like, how, if it just looks plain white, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Or if it's got that kind of, like,
but if you put it next to another white, there you go.
Yeah. As somebody who recently picked wall colors, there's a lot of white options.
It's the vanilla of Coming up, goal! The world's biggest sporting event making its way to the US of A.
We're talking about the FIFA World Cup, and all the excitement kicks off today. We're going to take you to Washington ahead of the tournament's big draw. You're watching Morning News Now. Welcome back. The countdown is officially on to the biggest sporting event on the planet. It's the FIFA World Cup. The soccer tournament is being held in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada next summer.
Later this afternoon, 48 nations will find out who is in their group when the draw takes place in Washington, D.C. That means fans of the beautiful game can start mapping out their country's route to the final and potentially to glory. NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki takes a look at how the draw will work.
48 countries are going to be in the 2026 World Cup. It's the most ever. So this is a bit of a different format and process they've used before. Again, we know who 42 of the countries are already. There are still playoffs to come for the final 6 spots. Those are a few months from now, but the draw is going forward. And the whole idea is to take these 48 and to group them, 12 groups, 4 teams each. Okay, so you see that right here. Now, the way this is going to work is they're using a pot system for this draw. 4 different pots that they're going to draw from. And this is a twist here that actually works to the U.S.'s advantage, because the U.S., you see, is in pot 1. So is Mexico, so is Canada. These are the 3 host nations for 2026. They're automatically put in pot 1. Who else is in pot 1? Well, it's the best teams in the world. Spain is the top-ranked team in the world right now, and these are all the other highest-ranked teams. That's pot 1. That's how they're working this. Pot 2 is the next highest-ranked group of countries. Pot 3, the next highest after that. Pot 4 are the lowest-ranked teams in the world, plus those playoff teams entrants that we haven't really got to yet. We will in a few months, okay? So these groups are being set where you're going to have 1 team from pot 1, 1 team from pot 2, 1 from pot 3, and 1 from pot 4. And they've already announced that the host countries, Mexico will be in Group A, Canada in B, United States in D. And then all these other teams from pot 1 will be assigned to different groups. What does that mean? It means the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, for that matter, cannot be matched in group play against the top teams in the world. The U.S.'s group will have 1 team from here, 1 team from pot 3, 1 team from pot 4. It will not have any of those top-ranked teams in it. So maybe a bit of an advantage there. It's good to be the host.
All right, Steve, the way I needed that explainer. I still need more explaining. Let's continue this conversation with the Athletics senior soccer correspondent, David Orstein. David, great to have you with us this morning. Exciting day for soccer fans. The tournament, I mean, it still seems a long way off for a lot of us, but I mean, this excitement really is already getting going. I know a lot can change between now and next summer, and so much depends on how these groups work out. But who do you see as favorites for the trophy if I ask you that massive question right now?
Morning, guys. No pressure. Thanks for having me on. And that was a great explainer by Steve. And you would have to look towards that first pot 1, and the likes of Spain, who statistically, judging by most data and analysis, are the favourites to win this tournament. But you shouldn't be writing off the likes of Argentina, who won last time out with Leo Messi, of France, who they were beaten by in the final and won the previous tournament. Even my beloved England, who are trying to win the tournament for the first time since 1966 and only the second time in their history. You should never forget about Brazil, even though their stock has fallen. And there will be teams in that top pot as well, the likes of the Netherlands, Belgium, who believe in themselves. But if you're looking at the outright favourite guys, you can't look much further than Spain.
So notably, you didn't mention Team USA. They're not one of the favorites, but as Steve just explained to us, they're going to be in that Group D, and no one else from pot 1 from the top teams in the world will be there. So maybe that gives them a little bit of an advantage in the early going. I mean, how far do you think they can go? Is there something to be said for home field advantage?
It's a blessing that the 3 home nations are in that top group, and so they'll be delighted theoretically, they should face an easier draw. However, there are dangers. There are sharks lurking in the water. The likes of Croatia in Pot B, and then even further down in Pot C, you've got Norway with the mighty Erling Haaland, Manchester City's prolific striker. One of the potential playoff sides could be Italy, who have failed to qualify for the last 2 World Cups. They don't want to go 3 in a row. They've won the World Cup before. They've won the European Championships in the meantime. So there are problems for even the biggest teams. However, the USA will be really thrilled to be on home soil. They've got Mauricio Pochettino, a very famous coach, who will be definitely hoping to lead them to the knockout stages, where they've been quite a few times before. And that point on, it's a bit of a lottery. It could go down to penalty kicks. They do have the home advantage in their own stadiums. They'll be playing 2 of their group stage games in LA, and thereafter, the momentum could really build. However, I think we need to measure expectations. They are not one of the favorites, but who knows? Surprises are often caused.
All right, David, we've only got like 10, 15 seconds here, but any new teams that are joining here, new countries that you're watching for?
Yeah, we've got Uzbekistan, Curacao, Cape Verde, and Panama also. There are teams who are back in the competition. Jordan, I should say, back in the competition, the likes of Panama. I'm going to say Haiti returning to the competition.
Wow. David Ornstein, thank you very much. As somebody who has a lot to learn, that was great.
And don't miss the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw later today. It's where the world's biggest tournament kicks off. Every matchup, every rivalry, every storyline will be set. Watch it live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. You also don't want to miss the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Spanish on Telemundo and Peacock. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning. We'll start with the good news. It's Friday. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, under fire, fresh fallout in the nation's capital coming on the heels of Defense Chief Pete Hegseth announcing another deadly strike on an alleged drug boat, this time in the Pacific. The death toll from that ongoing operation, the military says now close to 90. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill remain divided over whether the strikes are legal. The latest coming up. Captured, a years-long manhunt for this hooded suspect. Well, it could be over. He's accused of placing pipe bombs outside the RNC's and DNC's D.C. headquarters in the aftermath of the 2020 election. Now the 30-year-old suspect is in police custody. How investigators were finally able to make an arrest nearly 5 years later. Also, bundle up. Millions of Americans once again waking up to bitterly cold conditions. Mother Nature is serving up some record low temps across the Midwest and New England, even delivering D.C.'s first snow of the season today. And this deep freeze is not thawing out anytime soon. Our Angie Lassman has your full weekend forecast. And later in the hour, slicing costs. It's a tasty tradition that has graced dinner tables across the nation for decades. But now more Americans are switching up their classic Friday night pizza orders for deals that'll really save them some dough. There you go.
That was a thing when I grew up. We would do like pizza on Friday nights.
Pizza on Friday? Got it. I will do pizza on any night.
Yeah, well, that's true. Especially as a New Yorker.
I'm not picky. Exactly. All right, let's begin this hour with those deadly boat strikes in the Pacific. The Trump administration is facing growing questions over its authorization of U.S. military strikes on vessels that they allege are carrying narco-terrorists. Top military officials went to Capitol Hill yesterday to defend an attack near Venezuela in September, including a second strike that killed survivors.
Now, despite this scrutiny, overnight, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced a new strike by the U.S. military. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander has the latest from the White House for us. Peter, good morning.
Good morning. Amid fierce new scrutiny, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth overnight boasted about that latest boat targeted, responding to an ally on X who was calling for more strikes, writing, "Your wish is our command." It marks the 22nd boat strike that the Pentagon says has now killed nearly 90 drug smugglers. And it comes as we are learning new details about what the commander of September's controversial strikes told lawmakers behind closed doors and what they say they saw on the videotape. Overnight, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sharing this video of another deadly American military strike on an alleged drug boat, this one in the Pacific. The Pentagon says 4 narco-terrorists on board were killed without providing evidence they were drug traffickers. It comes as Hegseth is facing increased scrutiny for his role in an attack near Venezuela in September that included a second strike which killed survivors of the first U.S. missile. Debate now centering over whether the second strike was legal or could potentially constitute a war crime. Admiral Frank Bradley, who oversaw the attack, viewed the survivors as legitimate military targets, according to a defense official. Bradley briefing lawmakers who were split after viewing the video.
You have 2 individuals in clear distress, without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who are killed by the United States.
Republicans say the strikes were justified.
I saw 2 survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs down for the United States, back over so they could stay in the fight.
But a Democrat who was in the briefing disputes that account.
That is patently ridiculous. That boat wasn't going anywhere.
Democrats also describe watching the survivors on the video.
There were 2 individuals clinging to flotsam. That's what there was. There wasn't weaponry of any kind. There wasn't a radio.
Lawmakers say Bradley denied that Hegseth gave him any order to kill everyone on board.
Admiral Bradley was very clear that he was given no such order.
A defense official says Bradley was with a military legal advisor when he made the decision to strike again. NBC's Courtney Kuby pressing for answers.
Did a military JAG say that the second and follow-on strikes were all lawful?
Yes.
Hegseth has expressed support for Bradley, but said he was not in the room for the second strike. While the president has expressed his support for destroying those alleged drug boats, Democrats have said the deadly attacks may be illegal, arguing the U.S. is not in an armed conflict with alleged drug traffickers. Back to you.
All right, Peter, thank you.
A man is in custody this morning after he was arrested for placing pipe bombs outside the national headquarters of both the Democratic and Republican parties back in 2021. The explosives were laid out the night before January 6, when lawmakers then gathered to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election, and rioters stormed the Capitol. NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell is in Washington with details. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. The D.C. pipe bomb suspect is expected to make his first court appearance on 2 federal charges related to explosives. That's due to happen later this afternoon. Now, a source close to the investigation tells us that the suspect is talking to investigators and cooperating as they're putting things together since his long-awaited arrest.
The Washington, D.C. pipe bomb suspect, a hooded mystery man for nearly 5 years, now identified by prosecutors as 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr.
He lives with his mom and his sisters. He would go to work for a few hours a day.
Investigators swooped into his family home in Dale City, Virginia, Thursday, where officials say they recovered bomb-making materials.
When the FBI went in this morning, they found a lot of other products and pieces for pipe bombs.
The manhunt began January 6, 2021. Surveillance cameras tracked a figure who placed pipe bombs outside the Democratic and Republican Party offices.
These are bombs. These were live, active bombs that were placed in Washington, D.C.
According to the criminal complaint, investigators reviewed massive amounts of data from license plate readers and cell phone activity.
When we had the pings, when we realized that his cell phone is pinging exactly where he's walking, we knew we had someone.
Using Cole's bank and credit card records, authorities tracked purchases consistent with bomb components, including galvanized pipe, 2 white kitchen-style timers, an electrical wire in red and black.
We solved it. He will have his day in court.
Before this arrest, the case spawned conspiracy theories, even from then podcaster Dan Bongino in 2024. Now the FBI's number 2.
Those bombs were planted there. This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
Bongino said he was paid for his opinions then.
That's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director, and we base investigations on facts.
The Justice Department touted this arrest as a significant win that required reviewing millions of threads of data. There was a $500,000 reward that had not produced a lead. Officials also accused the Biden administration of not making the case a priority. It's also important to note the context that during the years since this event happened and during the Biden time, the FBI had also pursued more than 1,500 January 6 cases involving the Capitol riot. Joe?
All right. Kelly, thank you.
Well, the Justice Department's attempt to revive a criminal case against New York Attorney General Letitia James appears to have failed. A source familiar with the matter tells us that yesterday, a federal grand jury declined to re-indict James. It comes just 2 weeks after the original mortgage fraud case against her was dismissed. Now, James avoided prosecution after a judge tossed out a grand jury indictment on charges of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. Well, that case was dismissed on the grounds that the prosecutor, it was former Trump attorney Lindsay Halligan, was not lawfully appointed to that position. Now, James has denied any wrongdoing, calling the charges against her baseless in a statement yesterday. She also said she was grateful to the members of the grand jury, adding, quote, "It is time for this unchecked weaponization of our justice system to stop." Now, it is worth noting this failure yesterday to secure an indictment does not bar the Justice Department from attempting to do so again in the future.
Luigi Mangione, the man suspected of murdering a healthcare executive, is set to return to court today. It's day 4 of his pretrial hearing. Key evidence has emerged from the courtroom over the last couple days, including the 911 call from a Pennsylvania McDonald's, which helped bring an end to the nationwide manhunt a year ago. NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Gosk has been following this in court for us all week. Steph, good morning.
The judge unsealed this evidence exactly 1 year after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down in Manhattan. Authorities say Luigi Mangione had been on the run nearly 5 days when the manager at that McDonald's made the 911 call that ended the manhunt. This morning, evidence against accused killer Luigi Mangione released to the public for the very first time.
Got a call from the manager there. Customers came to her, said there's a male in the store that looks like the NYC shooter.
Including that 911 call from a manager of an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's, alerting police to his location.
I have a customer here that some other customers were suspicious of, that he looks like the CEO shooter from New York. Okay. So they're just really upset, and they're like coming to me, and I was like, well, I can't approach him, you know. No, of course not.
The court also releasing these new images of items police say they found on the 27-year-old during the arrest, including thousands of dollars in cash and some foreign currency, apparently from Asia, the laptop he was using when he was approached by police, a small flashlight, a Sharpie marker, and a mask. When Mangione was arrested, prosecutors say he also had a USB drive on a chain around his neck, an apparent to-do list that included buying a survival kit and trash bags, as well as a Greyhound bus ticket to Pittsburgh, arriving the night of the murder.
This does not appear to be a random act of violence.
Thursday's high-stakes hearing comes exactly 1 year since United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down in Midtown Manhattan. The court releasing these new angles of surveillance video that captured the chilling attack. Mangione's arrest and the search that followed have been the central focus of this week's pretrial proceedings. The defense looking to get evidence, including the alleged murder weapon, thrown out, arguing the search violated their client's constitutional rights. Prosecutors say police followed the law and had the right to search Mangione's backpack without a warrant because of safety concerns. In cross-examination, the defense has been drilling down on a couple of ideas, specifically the fact that the backpack was never that far away from Luigi Mangione while he was in the McDonald's and being questioned by police. Also focusing on the number of officers in the McDonald's, that was more than a dozen at one point, and the fact that they never at any point stopped customers and employees from going into that portion of the restaurant. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Steph.
Well, now let's get to that blast of winter weather that you might be feeling right outside your door. We are seeing record low temperatures across a lot of the country. NBC News meteorologist Angie Lassman will be here in just a moment to tell us how long these cold temperatures could stick around. But first, let's check in with NBC News correspondent Ryan Nobles, who is in Washington, D.C., where the district is expecting its first snowfall of the season. Hey, Ryan, good morning.
Joe and Savannah, good morning. It is a bitter 29 degrees along the National Mall here in Washington, D.C. We're expecting some of the coldest temperatures of the season. And just in time for the morning commute this morning, we're also starting to see snowfall. This morning, millions of Americans waking up to a frigid blast of winter and commuters facing weather woes, with snow moving into Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. Plows hitting the roads early.
We just want to prepare for the worst case scenario, but we'll be ready.
In Chicago, temperatures dropping into the single digits, with the city's brutal wind making it feel well below zero.
Couldn't feel my face, to be honest, right now.
Temps dropped to 15 degrees in St. Louis, where an ice-covered roof collapsed, trapping a firefighter.
He was trapped under just a tremendous amount of roofing material and also snowpack and ice.
A number of cities and states saw record lows Thursday. Frosty temperatures creating eerie sea smoke in Duluth, Minnesota, while several inches of snow making for icy driving in South Dakota. And rare thunder snow booming across Lake Erie and into Buffalo, causing gusting winds and whiteout conditions. The icy cold temperatures extending into the Northeast.
I have fleece leggings on, I have boots, I have long underwear on, I have a Nordic sweater, I have a parka, so I'm ready.
In Connecticut, the governor activating the state's severe weather protocol. And in the South, heavy rains have led to flash flood warnings in Louisiana. But while Americans are preparing once again for the worst, it has also opened the door to the best parts of the season.
It's a lot of powder, a bunch of fun jumps. It's awesome.
As ski resorts in Massachusetts are already hoping the cold temperatures will last all season long.
With that cold temps that we've got coming for the next couple weeks, we'll put down so much base that we'll make it right through till April.
And the conditions are certainly not overwhelming here in Washington, D.C., but most of the schools in Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and Maryland are playing it safe, starting the day with a 2-hour delay. Many kids, including mine, hoping that turns into a full snow day, but the snow is expected to taper off into the mid-morning, so it's likely these kids are not going to get their first snow day of the year, at least not quite yet. Joe and Savannah.
Ah, darn. Ryan, stay warm. Thank you.
But since so many folks are digging out, well, we'll dig a little deeper, too, with your Morning News Now weather.
Angie Lassen's back. She is tracking this winter blast. Angie, good morning.
Right after Ryan Nobles broke all the kids' hearts in Washington, D.C. Yes, he is right, guys. Good morning to you. We unfortunately aren't going to see enough snow to close the schools in that region, but we are seeing some impactful weather. And if we take a look outside, you can see just how beautiful it looks in that region. Across the mid-Atlantic, we've got the snow coming down. There's, of course, the White House. And you see coming down at a pretty good pace. We're going to continue to see this for a little while longer. The Capitol looking gorgeous as well. And that continues to impact that morning commute. And you can see why. We've got kind of this batch of moisture that's sliding across this region. Eventually, it's going to taper off. But unfortunately, a little farther south, we've got the rain here to stay for the extended period. We're talking about multiple days through the weekend. We'll see numerous showers and thunderstorms soaking the Gulf Coast. This is a look at your Saturday, more of that stretching across that same region. So we do need the rain, but we will see those impacts when it comes to localized flooding. So heads up for folks there. Even on Sunday, those downpours are sticking with us. And of course, the cold really getting your attention. We've got a whole bunch of potential record lows this morning, and temperatures right now really just hovering above zero for the wind chill in Chicago. We've got 20s for Cincinnati, 30s for Richmond. It feels like 10 when we look at the feels like temperature in New York City right now. Even tomorrow, not much improvement. We stay quite cool, and temperatures are going to remain kind of on the bitter cold side here as we get through at least the next couple of days before our next blast of really chilly air starts to work into parts of the upper Midwest. Notice Minneapolis at 10 degrees on Sunday. We rebound back to those mid-20s by Tuesday. 40s on tap for Richmond, into the 30s as we look at Boston by Monday. So you get the picture. We are chilly indeed, and we're going to stay that way here for the extended period. As we look a little farther to the south, I mentioned the rain, but you actually have some mild temperatures if we're looking on the bright side across the south, specifically Florida. Mid-80s on Sunday is how you'll wrap up your weekend, and then we kind of hover around those low 80s to upper 70s. So that cold, chilly air doesn't quite make it into the backyard of our friends there. And guys, I've got one more thing for you.
Okay, tell us.
We, of course, have heard all the hype around Wicked for Good. Incredible movie. I've seen it. But we're going to start something off here that has to do with Elphaba's spirit, and it is doing good, of course. So that means that we're going to talk about an initiative that NBC Universal is doing with Wicked for Good. And it's essentially, if we take a look at some of what we have in store, it's going to be a partnership where we try to do good in our communities when it comes to the environment. So what does this mean? It means we're going to pick a good action. We're going to do the plan, and then we're going to take a picture of it, and we are going to post it on social media. So what this means is that you're going to find something that you like to do in your community. It has to be simple. It's easy. That was Elphaba's whole thing, right? So anything that could go, whether it's a nature walk or, trading out maybe some reusable items in your house, and you're going to take a picture of it. You're going to use the hashtag green for good, and you're going to tag Wicked the movie. You're going to put your city in it, and then you are going to be helping NBC donate money to plant a tree in your community. So it's a challenge, of course.
Okay. Oh, Angie,
I've got
this
one
what
for
you're
you
doing.
guys.
Okay.
It's the holiday season, right? So we're going to be gifting a lot, and why not gift a reusable item? And I'm not talking about the reusable little Ziploc bags, not that. We're going to do maybe a really cool water bottle, or maybe a Stanley Cup. They're all the rage, or perhaps a reusable candle, and then we're going to personalize it to give it that little extra touch. And I think giving it to your friends, your family, you're making a little bit of a difference. We're going to snap a photo.
That's a good one.
Put it on social media. And
I really like the second
now
thing.
because
That's a great idea.
You have here,
It's a
keep a
challenge.
tote in your work bag so you never forget, because I'm at the grocery store sometimes and I'm like, I have a tote.
Yes.
I just don't have it with me.
You and me both. And I feel like the personalization.
Everyone gets a tote this year.
Yeah, spoil alert to my family and friends. This is what you're getting. But it does make a difference. We know single-use plastic is so detrimental to the environment. True. So anything that you can do, it can be little things, guys. That's the whole idea of this. But I now challenge you both to join in on this. And then every Friday, we're going to have another kind of tip that you can do, a good action. Are
you wearing green every Friday?
Well, we'll see what my closet allows. I will do my very best.
You don't have to wear green to do this.
No,
you can wear any color.
You don't. But we would love to see more trees planted in honor of this initiative.
Love it. Green for the holidays, green for Wicked, green for good.
There
I
you
am
go.
going to start the
go.
tote thing. That's a great tip. Angie, thank you.
Of course.
All right, there's much more to come on this Friday edition of Morning News Now, including a holiday message of love from Princess Kate in her first Christmas Carol concert since she shared her cancer is in remission. Developing news now out of Middle East, Israel has launched new airstrikes on southern Lebanon.
NBC's Matt Bodner takes us around the world in 60 seconds. Matt, good morning.
Joe, Savannah, good morning. The IDF has conducted a new round of airstrikes on targets in southern Lebanon. This comes less than a day after Israel and Lebanon held their first direct talk in decades. The IDF said it was targeting weapons warehouses used by Hezbollah, and Israel has conducted near daily strikes on Lebanon since their ceasefire went into effect in November 2024. Moving along now to the Eurovision Song Contest. Public broadcasters in the Netherlands, Spain, Slovenia, and Ireland have pulled out of next year's contest following a decision by Eurovision organizers to allow Israel to compete in the contest. This decision came as a rebuff to calls to ban Israel from the contest. We'll wrap up this hour in New Zealand. Police said Friday that they have recovered a James Bond-inspired Fabergé pendant. The piece had been missing for about 6 days after a man was accused of swallowing it in an Auckland store. They've been watching this man closely, and they report that the pendant was recovered after it exited the suspect's gastrointestinal tract naturally without medical intervention. Back to you guys.
That is an in-depth investigation there, Matt. All right. Thank you.
Let's stay with international news. Today in the United Kingdom, Princess Kate is hosting her annual Christmas Carol concert. It's the first since announcing her cancer remission. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson has a preview.
Last touches are underway at London's Westminster Abbey for the Princess of Wales' most anticipated event of the year. After a high-profile week of glamorous appearances, Kate now getting ready to host her annual Christmas concert this evening that will bring together celebrities including Kate Winslet and Hannah Waddingham, royalty, and community members.
We're going to hear stories of people who are helping others in their communities, and it's really refreshing to be reminded of the good that's going on in the world.
The now traditional celebration carrying special meaning this year. It's Kate's first since announcing her cancer remission last January. And once again, the future queen choosing to share a deeply personal letter ahead of the event, spreading a special message of hope and love in uncertain times, even when she says life can feel fragmented.
The princess has written to all 1,600 guests who are attending here later on.
We're going to be making wreaths for the Royal Carol service at Westminster later this week.
Adding to the festive service, handmade decorations and garlands created by volunteers on display at the Abbey. As Kate welcomes guests and members of the royal family, her husband Prince William, and their 3 children, Princes George, Louis, and Charlotte. Last year, the Wales children seen enjoying the concert as their mom, Kate, mastered the celebrations. Today's event bringing a busy week to an end for the Wales couple. Dazzling at that state banquet dinner on Wednesday in her biggest tiara yet, and taking center stage while on ceremonial duties alongside the king. Kate now back in the spotlight following her harrowing journey.
Love is the first and most essential bond. But it's also the invisible thread, woven with time, attention, and tenderness.
A compassionate Kate, deepening connections and looking ahead to the future as the royals embark on the holiday season, hoping for better times ahead.
Well, the full Carol service promises to be a star-studded event, but it actually doesn't air on TV until Christmas Eve. We will have to wait until then to see it.
Coming up, you may want to keep a closer eye on all those holiday deliveries this season.
Yeah, when we come back, of course, you know what we're talking about. Porch pirates. It's on the rise across the country. And the new high-tech tactics that some thieves are breaking out, all just to skirt justice. That is next on Morning News Now. We're back now with a closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with a major victory for Republicans, leading a nationwide redistricting effort.
NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin is that and some other political headlines. Julie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yep, we start with the Supreme Court's decision on Thursday to allow Texas to use a new congressional map in next year's midterm elections that gives a boost to Republicans in that state. A lower court ruling said the map was against the law because it was drawn by Republicans to give the party maximum political power in Texas, up to 5 additional House seats in Congress. Now, President Trump urged red states around the country to pursue mid-decade redistricting, and Democrats have already responded by drawing a new map in California to cancel out those GOP gains. Trump's DOJ has sued over that map, and it could also end up before the Supreme Court. Staying in D.C., over to my usual post on Capitol Hill, Senate Democrats have decided what kind of health care bill they want to vote on. Remember, this was Republican leader John Thune's pledge to the other party when they voted to reopen the government last month. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer announced his members will force a vote on a bill to extend the expiring Affordable Care Act tax credits for 3 years. That bill is unlikely to pass. Some Republicans have said they would vote for a proposal that extends the credits by 1 or 2 years. Others are working on their own plan. Most Republicans, though, including Thune and Speaker Johnson, have railed against the COVID-era subsidies, arguing they were meant to be temporary. But the bottom line for Americans is Congress is no closer to figuring out how to prevent premiums from skyrocketing for millions. And over to the White House. That's where President Trump fired not a cabinet secretary, but the architect of his new ballroom. Mr. Trump had some disagreements with the D.C.-based builder over the size of a $300 million ballroom and how it flows with the main White House building. So he hired another firm and said the new architect was brought on as the project enters a new phase and requires new expertise. The White House plans to submit construction plans to the National Capital Planning Commission and has already demolished the historic East Wing, you see it there, to make room for the new space. And that is a look at what is making news in politics this morning. Guys?
All right, Julie, thank you.
Chilling new data from the FBI shows too many children are getting involved with gang violence. Just this week, there was a deadly shooting at a toddler's birthday party in California, and officials there now say they believe that was gang-related. Investigative reporter Candace Wynn from our NBC station in the Bay Area has the details.
2 shootings believed to be gang-related over the long holiday weekend, both gunning down children. A 16-year-old passerby injured at San Jose's Valley Fair Mall on Black Friday, and 3 children killed during the mass shooting at a kid's birthday party in Stockton. 11 others were injured.
My niece was shot.
My nephew was shot. I don't think it's going to stop.
Nationwide, the FBI says children 13 to 16 years old were the most reported victims of gang activity between 2021 and 2024. This age group also makes up by far the most reported offenders of gang activity for that period. More than 19,000 children, 13 to 16, committed a gang-related crime, the FBI says. Separately, more than 2,000 kids 12 and under also committed gang-related crimes. San Jose officials say they fear gang members are recruiting young children for a specific reason.
In California, our laws do not treat gun violence with meaningful consequences. And if you're a juvenile, the consequences are, quite frankly, almost non-existent.
Over the years, California passed laws preventing state prosecutors from charging most minors as adults, including for violent offenses.
I'm afraid that if we don't change the way our system holds young repeat offenders accountable, we may be providing a perverse incentive for gangs to recruit children at younger and younger ages.
This isn't the only time gang violence ended a child's life and forever changed the course of another's in Northern California this year. On Valentine's Day, police say a 13-year-old gang member allegedly stabbed and killed 15-year-old David Gutierrez in San Jose's popular Santana Row while Gutierrez was on a date with his girlfriend. The 13-year-old was with a group of teens who prosecutors say mistook Gutierrez for an opposing gang member.
Because if gangs believe that initiating kids as members is a loophole, is a way to commit violence without consequences, we've created a dangerous loophole that makes our children even greater targets.
Candace Wen, San Jose, NBC News.
Well, as the holiday shopping season ramps up and we all get more packages coming to our homes, you unfortunately need to think about the threat of porch pirates, because experts say there is an increase in packages being stolen from front doors right now. And police are even warning that thieves are using high-tech signal disruptors to stop cameras from catching them in the act. NBC News correspondent Adrian Broadus explains.
At first glance, it may seem like a DoorDash delivery, but quickly it turns into a porch pirate pickup. Watch as he stuffs not one, but multiple packages into his bag. Before a honk alerts him that the suburban Chicago homeowner is pulling up, the family returning from vacation.
Oh my God, he's putting all the packages in his bag.
The real-life Grinch, managing to avoid the SUV, gets in the car and drives away before they even park.
When we looked through the Ring video footage from earlier in the day, you could see that he canvassed by our house several times.
This mom of two now warning neighbors to stay alert during the busy holiday shopping season that now comes with more and more package deliveries. Clarendon Hills police say the property crime incident is under investigation, adding porch pirates are getting bolder. In Houston, some thieves are targeting the cameras first to prevent any footage of their attacks. Authorities say thieves used Wi-Fi jammers to override home security systems. In this case, corrupting the video to ensure clean evidence wasn't recorded.
They're not hard to get. I think they cost about $60 or $70.
Experts say you can take steps to protect your home.
One of the things I do at home is I have two networks, and I have different Ring cameras connected to different networks. And there are different frequencies as well.
As for package deliveries, police in Illinois suggesting if you don't want to take a chance, pick one delivery day when you know you'll be home, or use a locking drop box. As for this family targeted in Chicago, the stolen Christmas gifts can be replaced, but the violation of their space cuts deeper.
We definitely felt violated, a little nervous going to bed last night. Like, I know that that's not what it was about, but you're so nervous. Like, it's your property and someone's like encroached upon it.
Adrian Broadus, NBC News.
Coming up, it's no secret that your Friday night pizza habit is costing some people a little extra cheddar.
After the break, we're digging into why more Americans are starting to switch up their orders, looking for deals to save some dough. That's next on Morning News Now. We're back with some important holiday shipping deadlines. You may want to take notes. Mail carriers are working round the clock to make sure packages get delivered on time. The U.S. Postal Service spent billions of dollars to upgrade its equipment this year, but that doesn't matter. If you wait until the last minute, it could still cost you. Linda Baccaro from NBC New York breaks down what you need to know.
In Bronxville, Santa's elves are busy. Are you shipping any gifts?
Yeah, this is going to Canada. These are from my temple.
The rush to deliver packages is on. The U.S. Postal Service invested $40 billion over the last few years in new facilities and equipment, including this Matrix regional sorter in Jersey City, which will be able to move 1.5 million packages a day. Xavier Hernandez is spokesperson for the Postal Service.
Right now, we are capable of processing up to 88 million packages a day, which is up from about 60 million last year.
For a look at prices this year, we estimated the cost for a 2-pound large box from Midtown Manhattan to downtown Miami with a USPS Priority Mail large flat rate box. The price would be $31.40, which includes $100 worth of insurance. Compare that to using FedEx Express Saver, which would cost $54.88. If you use UPS, their 3-day select service would run you $67.09. But if you ship by UPS Ground, the price is $24.30. Whichever service you use, it's important to carefully pack your items and include the full address, including zip code.
Make sure you pick the right size box. You don't want anything too big where items shift around, or too small where it can get compressed or get damaged.
To have your gifts delivered by Christmas, here are the deadlines. For USPS Ground and First Class Mail, it's December 17. Priority Mail, December 18. Priority Mail Express, December 20. And if you want to donate gifts to the Postal Service's Operation Santa, you can view the children's letters to Santa online right now and then hand in the gifts by December 13th.
All right, Linda Beccaro, thank you.
Well, it is Friday, and for a lot of people, that actually means pizza night. But when it comes to the traditional to-go order, it turns out a growing number of budget-savvy Americans are trying something new.
NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda is digging into this one for us, and she joins us now on set. Emily, good morning.
Hey, guys, good morning to you. You know, more than 1 in 10 people will actually eat pizza on any given day. And while that order often comes with the cheesy goodness, the doughy goodness, it is starting to change for a growing number of people as the price of a slice rises.
It's the ultimate comfort food.
I'm having a relationship with my pizza.
From football games and birthday parties to those relaxing nights in.
A lovely cheese pizza just for me.
But are our pie preferences changing?
Everyone still wants to order pizza. They're just changing the order style.
Lauren Paddleford works for Slice, an online ordering platform for 15,000 independent pizzerias.
In what ways are pizza orders looking different nowadays?
You definitely see a shift in size. You see people ordering smaller pizzas. They're reducing, in some cases, the topping count.
In most of those cases, he says, the shift coming from price-conscious consumers, as the national average for a large cheese pizza has grown to nearly $17, up 22% in the past 5 years. And that's before you add in any toppings.
I definitely notice each topping is usually an extra 50 cents to $1. So if I just go with the pepperoni, it's definitely cheaper.
Some pizzerias have felt the pinch. Pizza Hut has been battling sinking sales for over a year. And last month, Papa John said cautious customers have been downsizing to medium pizzas with fewer toppings and sides.
When did a cheese pizza become $23?
Pushing up those prices, in part, the rising cost of some ingredients.
Things like using Italian tomatoes that we use, that's gone and stayed up 25%.
Prompting Joe's Pizza in New York City to tack on an extra 50 cents a slice in recent years. Across the country, Domino's has been rolling in the dough and seeing a surge in sales thanks to recent deals.
Every specialty pizza is just $9.99 when I mix and match? Yep.
Treat yourself. While some businesses are catering to wellness trends, including smaller appetites driven in part by wildly popular weight loss drugs. Blaze Pizza telling the New York Times it's exploring a GLP-1 friendly pizza that would embrace protein and a lower calorie count because of a cauliflower crust.
There are a lot of pizzerias, the ones who embrace technology, embrace marketing, really get into their communities and make great product tend to do a lot better.
Okay, so if you're curious what the most popular toppings are, perhaps no surprise, pepperoni, sausage, and mushroom. But what about some of the top trending options, guys? We're talking about, according to one industry report, berries, one of my personal favorites, hot honey.
Hot honey's big, yeah.
And how about this? Pickles.
Rewind. Like a strawberry? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Different kinds of berries. They're just like throwing different things. That's sweet and salty, maybe?
I'm doing research for a Rome trip, and I saw like there's pizza places where there's melon and there's all sorts of
a
like,
lot of experimentation. But also pickles. Like, are pickles not everywhere right
pickles
now?
are great. I like it, but you have to have like a white sauce.
I know you're into
like
the
pickle
sauce. Mixing things.
Yeah, not on the red sauce.
No, white sauce. Okay.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry. Nobody wants berries on a pizza. That is absolutely crazy.
Give me like thickly sliced pepperoni and hot honey, and I'm set.
There you go. I love it. Thanks, Em.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, staying on your wallet this morning, Meta's WhatsApp is causing a stir in Europe over one of its controversial new policies.
NBC News business and economy reporter Emily Lorsch has our Money Minute. Hey, Emily, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. That's right. Meta has been hit with a European antitrust investigation. The European Commission says it's looking into a new policy that would limit other AI providers' access to WhatsApp and give its own integrated AI system an advantage. It's part of a broader EU crackdown as regulators work to prevent dominant companies from crowding out smaller competitors. A WhatsApp spokesperson tells NBC News that these claims are, quote, baseless. And Dollar General is getting a big boost from budget-conscious shoppers. The retailer raised its annual profit outlook as Americans across income levels seem to be looking for value during this time of economic uncertainty. Competitors Dollar Tree and Five Below also raised their forecast. Dollar General's strategy of keeping about a quarter of its products at $1 or less continues to draw in core customers. It's a sign that bargain hunting could remain strong as we move into 2026. And yet another venture for Kim Kardashian, the celebrity turned entrepreneur, is now joining Masterclass. Her new course, titled The New Rules of Business, The 10 Commandments, is now available, while subscriptions for the digital service are currently 40% off. That's part of the website's Cyber Week sale. The class includes 11 lessons in which she's expected to break down the key tools and mindset that helped her build her empire, Joan Savannah.
Right. And they renewed that show she does on Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
You watched it?
No, because I think I can't.
It got a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. All right. Anyway.
I've seen the promotional images even, and I'm like, interesting.
But good for her.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
That means we've got your front row seat to absolutely everything that should be at the top of your watch list. Like if you're looking for a cozy escape from all this bitterly cold weather, we've got your can't miss list next. Finally this hour, Friday, which means it's time for our weekly can't miss list.
It's a look at all the movies and shows you should be watching this weekend.
And we're so lucky because joining us today to talk about this week's picks, our friend NBC News New York digital reporter, friend of the show,
What's
Kay
going
Ingram.
on?
Good morning.
Hi, friends. Good morning.
Great to see you. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us as always. Let's start in theaters.
Yes.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, The Creepy Robots are back.
They're back. They're back. It's like we didn't learn the first time, but that's okay. So, listen, this sequel puts us 1 year ahead. So if you remember the first one, we're now 1 year out. So not too much has changed. But what's different about this sequel is we are getting some serious backstory for the fans of this movie. The lore that they've been demanding, you're getting it. You're finding out what is the creepy backstory behind
Ooh, I'm
these
kind of into that.
creepy. I know, right? Like, give me the lore.
Like, who hurt the animatronic monsters?
Who hurt you? Why are you trying to hurt us? So we dive all into that with this one. The reviews aren't too crazy. Like Rotten Tomatoes is not excited about it, but it really is for the fans. This is a can't miss for the fans.
All right. Love. So we'll go from Five Nights at Freddy's to 100 Nights of Hero, kind of a medieval fairy tale, and like all medieval stories, Charlie XCX makes an appearance.
I mean, it's all making sense. It comes together so well. No, but this is a really good one. It's an adaptation of Isabel Greenberg's graphic novel. I think Book Talk is really going to enjoy this one. So it's this really fantastical, queer, feminist storyline. And like you mentioned, Charlie XCX makes an appearance. You've got these two main characters who are, really trying to outsmart these guys. And, you really get that beautiful storytelling of women empowerment while also that Charlie appearance, which why not, right?
Looks pretty. Just period.
Why not? We see her with the guitar, so I won't spoil anything, but we definitely got our girl in there.
She was good in SNL. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to say this next title slowly, and am I even saying it right?
I'm so glad you're saying it.
Ham Hall.
That's it. That's it. It's definitely giving like meet the. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Mom's watching. But no, this one is just as funny as you could probably expect. Let's be honest, just by the title itself. It's a cheeky British comedy, and essentially it's revolving around this wedding. You've got this porter, so it's like lady of the house. You know, essentially one of the youngest daughters gets these feelings for the help. And so while there is this like aristocratic wedding that's evolving, there's so much chaos, so much drama, many silly moments. And even if you watch the trailer, the folks are like, this is coming from the producers who just watched the first 2 seasons of Downton Abbey.
Oh,
like,
got it.
So you got it. They're silly. It's funny.
Okay.
That's funny.
There's a lot of heavy stuff this weekend.
I like
so it's
that
a good
Okay, good.
fun
All right.
watch.
All right. If you want to stream this weekend, of course, we have Jay Kelly with this up-and-comer named George Clooney. I don't know what this is about. I just know I want to see it, right?
It's crazy,
Right.
yeah.
It's so crazy because, guys, we're getting a George Clooney, Adam Sandler opposite playing, and it's so good because I'm like, when have we seen these two together? And essentially, you've got this famous actor who's having this adult life crisis, which I kind of love. I feel seen by it because we talk a lot about like coming of age for young adults, but I mean, we're all still like kids on the inside. I don't know. I feel that way. So we see him as he navigates, life, being a famous actor. He's traveling through the world and figuring out, his past, his future, trying to make sense of it all. And again, it is geared for adults, but you've also got Laura Dern, you've got Riley Keough, Greta Gerwig, but I think the can't miss of it all really is the Clooney-Sandler moment.
I love it. Okay, we have
iconic.
literally 10 seconds, but the abandons modern Western.
Yes. Okay. Yellowstone fans, this is for you. All right.
Also
if you've
Netflix.
been missing it, it's also on Netflix. This one's back. It's airing, but for folks who wish they had Yellowstone back, this is it. And essentially, it's gritty. It's family saga. There's death. There's all the things, all the Yellowstone drama you might be missing. You can get that here.
Looks like Robin Wright there, right? All right.
Yeah, and
All right.
great actors this week. All right, Kate, thank you so much. Good to see you.
That'll do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.